David Brooks of the New York Times wrote an article against marijuana that I wanted to share some bits and pieces of with you. I'm amazed how egocentric his article is. He starts out by actually giving a teeny bit of credit to, whoever might use marijuana recreationally. Quote, "For a little while in my teenage years, my friends and I smoked marijuana. It was fun. I have some fond memories of us all being silly together. I think those moments of uninhibited frolic deepened our friendships." Okay, so that sounds kind of reasonable. So what, are you going to be in favor of marijuana? He continues, quote, "Most of us developed higher pleasures. Smoking was fun for a bit, but it was kind of repetitive. Most of us figured out early on that smoking weed doesn't really make you funnier or more creative. Academic studies have more or less confirmed this." Really, David? Can you please show me the study that says that how marijuana affects somebody's comedy? You just made that up. That study doesn't exist. "We graduated to more satisfying pleasures. The deeper sources of happiness usually involve a state of going somewhere, becoming better at something, learning more about something, overcoming difficulty, and experiencing a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment." Because, of course, what David Brooks knows is what would make every person on the planet happy and not happy. He's the ultimate arbiter of emotions. He figured all this out. He has this grand theory in his basement, like a beautiful mind. He was writing it on his chalkboard. Or you're just kind of giving your opinion. Or that. And you can't back it up in a factual way, and you're just bloviating like anybody can about anything. Yeah, that's probably more what's going on here. He says, quote, "I'd say that in healthy societies, government wants to subtly tip the scale to favor temperate, prudent, self-governing citizenship. In those societies, government subtly encourages the highest pleasures, like enjoying the arts or being in nature, and discourages lesser pleasures, like being stoned." So, in other words, David Brooks wants to legislate his opinion and make you follow it. Yeah, this is dumb. No, I think this is a dumb argument. Like, what does that mean? What does any of that mean? A higher pleasure is being in nature? Just going outside and going for a walk is a higher pleasure than somebody, I don't know, drinking some alcohol or smoking weed or playing a sport or something like that? There's no basis by which you could say that that's true. And also, I want to be fair here, there's no basis by which I could say that smoking marijuana is superior to somebody who enjoys a good walk and bird watching or something like that. No, neither of them are, you're not right or wrong, or somebody's inferior or superior in that regard. It's a matter of to each their own. And by the way, the whole idea of having a free society is that we don't push our own personal opinions on other people through the law. And he just said, I'd say that in healthy societies, government wants to subtly tip the scale to favor temperate, prudent, self-governing citizenship. Wrong. The government should not push anything. They shouldn't push temperate anything, prudent anything, nothing. They're supposed to be neutral on these issues and let people pick whatever hobbies they want to pick, because that's what fucking freedom is. So his whole article, I mean, look at this. It's sad. It's such a childish argument. His whole article is, "I think X, therefore we should legislate X. My personal opinion is that marijuana is like this, so everybody should agree with it and we should legislate it." No, how about to each their own? How about if you don't want to smoke marijuana, okay, don't smoke marijuana. But that doesn't mean you should take it away from the guy down the street. I mean, these things, these are obvious things I'm mentioning here, but they're right over David Brooks' head. Now, the final thing I want to mention here, dude, you totally missed the point anyway. Like, the whole thing is like written in prose, like just a personal story, and then he's drawing conclusions based on his own experience. There's a term for that. It's called anecdotal. Now, what's more important than anybody's opinion on anything? How about the effects of the policy? So what about the millions of people in jail for pot? And by the way, if you say it should be illegal, then shouldn't you be in jail? You just talked about how you did it all the time when you were a kid. That's illegal. So shouldn't you be in jail with somebody else who was caught, who smoked the same amount as you, with their friends, just like you did? I mean, if you're saying it should be illegal, you're admitting I did something illegal. So what happened? Why aren't you willingly turning yourself in? It's hypocrisy. But what about the millions of people in jail for pot? Are you at least going to join us to try to get them out? I haven't heard a peep out of you about that. I'll be waiting for that. How about how many lives have been ruined by the drug war? How about the 60,000 deaths on the Texas border from the drug war? Because we've emboldened these cartels by making them powerful, because we've given them a monopoly on the market. If we legalize it, the cartels would go away, and there'd be no more violent crime associated with drugs. It's when something is illegal that it becomes, there's a violent undermarket for it. Why? I mean, look at when it comes to prohibition in the U.S., you saw this happening. When alcohol was illegal, violent crime skyrocketed. Why? Because instead of people solving disputes by going to court wearing suits and ties, they would solve it with drive-bys and Tommy guns. The same thing is happening with weed. If you legalize it, the cartels go away. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then also, the final point I'll make here, what about the $1 trillion we wasted? The whole purpose of the war on drugs was, we're going to spend money to stop kids from smoking weed and limit the supply of drugs or eliminate the supply of drugs. What ended up happening? Kids are using at a higher rate, and the first-time triers are at a higher rate also. And we've just wasted $1 trillion in the process. More people are using, and we just threw $1 trillion down the drain. I mean, there's no argument for David Brooks' position. Dude, if you're gonna write a piece to try to convince somebody of something, you gotta be more persuasive than this. I mean, honestly, I know people who are like 15-year-olds who could come up with a more concrete argument than the one you just put forth. It's really sad.